Welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We are taking on a Japanese. I said I was going to stop saying that because I don't know if they're Japanese or Chinese or Korean. So I was just going to Freya player, and we're going to use Sita yet again because she's been rocking it out so far. So we're going to throw her into the mix. She'll tank everything, and we'll get out of here. I do have to be a little bit careful about my setup though, because I do want to hide the remainder of the units in the spaces that will be available. It's always great to have those free spaces in the bat row, man. I always talk about it. It's very good to have. So yeah, just gotta be a little bit meticulous in the setup here, and then we should be good to go from that perspective. So that aside, we have, or at least I have, finally seen the trailer. Yeah, it's trailer day. And it's pretty much what I thought it would be, except I didn't expect them to go so hard with the armor skills and the save skills and just everything else in general. This is a lot of power creep that we're experiencing right now so quickly into the new, I think we're at Gen 8 right now, if I'm not mistaken. And that, I don't know what that means. Well, I mean, of course it means that we're going to be getting a lot more skill creep, power creep this year. I feel like this year is probably going to be unprecedented in terms of how fast everything will move, because to be honest, they really didn't need to upgrade tier 4 saves just yet. They could have waited at least another year, in my opinion, because it's 300, it scores 300, and I don't really see it, you know, for armored units going much further than that for right now. So they definitely could have waited at least another year before upgrading save skills. So the fact that they already done it, I don't know what the rest of the year has to offer, man. It's gonna be nuts this year. I feel like we're probably just gonna have to, like, or at least just toss out all of our old units that we've been holding on to, like for like fodder options. Just toss those out, because I feel like they're gonna be useless by the end of by the time we get to COL next year. A lot of our older units are going to be completely useless unless we've already updated their kits. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun ride, I think, this year. Or from one perspective, I guess we'll have a lot of new stuff to work with, but it's gonna like outdate a lot of units very quickly. I feel like that's exactly what's gonna happen. I thought we'd get a lot more from a support perspective from the refines. Looking at Flane, that was not very good, but I mean, yes. For her, I've seen some people like cook with her in terms of like just combat forecasts, like she's doing a lot more damage, but it's not what you really wanted. I really was thinking they'd give her a ton of like flat damage reduction, and because she was already doing the drive flat damage reduction thing, so I thought they would just go all out in that direction. Well, not flat damage reduction, but just damage reduction in general. So I thought they would just upgrade on that, but they really didn't want to do that. It looks like I don't know if it was because she's a healer. That's my speculation. But Sedith is like straight up better, which is crazy as a support unit. The only thing he doesn't do is like heal, but then you can just give him Breath of Life, and he kind of pseudo does that. So yeah, devs did not cook with that one. But yeah, back to the banner. I definitely am gonna pick up Na, because that near safe fodder is just, ooh, that's spicy. I think I really want that, so I definitely want at least a spare copy of that Na, so I can put that on someone to probably duplicate it. If not, worst case scenario, I might give that just to Brave Edelgard, because I think she would like really benefit from using that the most with Armored Blaze. I think I said it in the previous video as well, that Armored Blaze and Flow were like, I feel, trending towards being obsolete, because if you're not running Shield Fighter, then I mean, what are you? You're not going to survive anything in this meta as a armored unit. You're just going to die flat out, because like looking back at even the one of the most recent save skills that we've B skills for armors that we've gotten in Canny and Weaving Fighter, those are like completely useless in this current meta, because that's all pierceable damage reduction, and that like really, without some way to help on top of that, the units that make the best use out of that, which are like Byleth, Winter, and Myr, are duds because you 100% need flat damage reduction to make those skills work. And I was looking at it in terms of like what they're going to do with the remaining B skills for armors that are yet to come out in the form of Slick Fighter, Crafty Fighter, the one that Ascended Idun has. I forget what it's called, but it does like a lull, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, those would have been like, they would have had to do some really big upgrades to those just to make those fighter skills viable. This is quite unfortunate that Ike is the last unit here. It's gonna make getting the boss a lot trickier since you can warp, but I think I could potentially do it. Let's go about this carefully. But yeah, man. So yeah, that save skill on Myr, I definitely want to pick that up. On Na, rather, I definitely want to pick that up. I think it's great that they gave her an ult because I can't even think. Like, her last ult was the one with Myr, no? Yeah, the one. Unless she got one that I'm forgetting, but I think her last ult was the one with Myr, which was in the harmonic. And I really love the Idun and Nagi pairing. Nagi, who actually really needed a refine. And ults, because I was like literally like after my testing with Marni, I literally was like, this Slain, I really need Slain. I really need Slain on a green armored unit because the Pavis is just far superior to Escutcheon. And I was looking to like start investing into my Nagi, but lo and behold, we get an ult for her that you can probably, like, personally, I would drop the, I don't think she's going to be the greatest far save. Just looking at the combat forecast and the fact that she's red currently in the meta that's very blue heavy in terms of damage output, I don't think she's going to be the greatest far save. Dual Fjorm is definitely at the top right now, alongside Myr, I feel, close second. So yeah, definitely something that I'd probably swap her out to make her some type of near save. And then I'm looking at
over here.
Na again. She has the Slaying in her weapon, which is actually what I needed from a green near save unit. I was looking like who could like make the best use out of it in terms of like having the Slaying, and the only other green near save that I could find with it was the original, the OG, the one that brought us the save meta. Alphon's father, I forget what his name, Gustav, Valentine's Gustav. He was the only one that I found with Slain, and I was like, I can't use him. Well, he was a Forma, but I can't use him currently because I just don't have anything on him. So I was like, I really need either invest in Nagi or just full send into Marni, and I really didn't want to go the Marni route because I feel like she's not going to age the best, or at least I don't currently have the fodder to make her work the way that I want her to, and Na just fixes all of those problems for me. So I'm probably going to pull Na and stick with her, and then get a spear copy for like fodder or something, I don't know. But yeah, man, I am surprised that they upgraded the save skills. The B skills for the dragons look usable, at least. I really like them. And I love the fact that it's so versatile. It makes well, at least the new save skills makes every armor now a lot more versatile in terms of their build. You don't have to run Shield Fighter, Hardy Fighter, Pavis, Aegis. You don't have to do that. You can actually run the Flow and Blaze skills, which I think are fantastic. It's just that for that second hit, you're pretty much dead. So unless you're like, you know, taking out the opponent on the first hit, most armor saves are going to be dead by the second hit without some type of second hit flat damage reduction when running those Flow and Blaze skills, because that's only on the first hit if you get the 40% at all. And then the first hit, you can easily supplement that with the Ike Ring. So it kind of devalued those line of skills, the Flow and Blaze skills. And I was like, well, Shield Fighter is clearly the better option because you can still run the Ike Ring and then get the additional flat DR on the back hits as well if you're getting double, which by this point you are, because everything is just so fast. Armors are just not going to keep up in terms of the speed meta, and if they do, they're probably just taking a ton of damage because they typically substitute defensive and res bulk for speed in the case of speed armors. So it's also a really huge thing for ranged save units as well, because Clever Fighter is actually really, really good. It's one of the things I was looking at Amelia, and I was like, I really don't want to give Amelia Shield Fighter because her speed is so valuable that she really wants to be using the blaze skills or the flows or the beacon skills, whatever, because of the damage output that she is going to get once she's able to get her special off. So I really think it's a huge boon for units like Amelia as well. Fjorm definitely needs her perf special, so that's she doesn't benefit from this, but Amelia certainly does, because she was very vulnerable to getting like sniped on the second hit, where she doesn't have as much damage reduction, which was why Clever Fighter was worded in that way, so that she doesn't get doubled, but she can still get doubled if she's not fast enough or if you don't have enough merges on her. So I think now these new lines of save skills fix a ton of problems for most armors, if not all. I can't wait for them to put out the full line so that we get the speed variant as well as the attack and defense variants, so that we can fodder that to our units respectively. I really would like to give that, or at least the attack and defense ones, to Brave Edelgard, and then the speed variant, that one is going to be coveted, as you can imagine, so look out for that one when that one comes out. But I think it's a fantastic banner. I really didn't want to pull, but they got me yet again. So we'll see how lucky I get when the banner comes out, man. It's going so fast, I guess. GG's. Alright, so welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We're taking on 1000 here, and this one, I'm just gonna cut this one up into a million pieces, because this took me like quite a while to try to figure out, and in the end, spoilers, we don't get it. But just to show you what went on in this, ultimately what this is a corner ball. Hold on. I felt a burp there. Yeah, ultimately what this is a corner ball, but this is so, like, not... You're just not getting through this, ultimately, is what this is. Unless you're able to take out Marni. And I don't have the unit that would be able to help me out with that Marni combat in this season. And also, this Crom is really built for Gale Force, or not to really take on a Marni that is this stacked, unfortunately. So there's a ton of support here that both of the save units are getting, and I feel like this is probably like the best demonstration of just how toxic these save balls are, because it really just stops like any type of gameplay from actually happening, which is one way to win, I guess. On defense, it's really one way to win, but yeah, you really just can't do anything if it's properly supported. You would be thinking that you could run Embla in a situation like this just to eliminate some of the support from the team. I guess you could, because you drop out Zedith, who is... I still can't stop saying how good that unit is in terms of the refine that he got. He's doing a ton of work here alongside Tamara, even though from the angle that I attacked from, I was actually just avoiding a lot of Tamara's support, so it was primarily Sedith and Ashnard giving the majority of the bulk to this team here, but it's still quite a lot that this support team was getting. So I'm just going to cut through some of this. This is just turn 2, 1, whatever you see me set up here, and this is where I finally start to get things going here on turn 3. I've broken the majority of the structures here that I needed to get in on this right hand side here, which is the least amount of buffs or supports for the armors, because Tamara is just out of the picture. And then not only do I have to like take out the saves, but you also have to take out Tamara as well, and Ashnard, after you break through these save units, because they have the weapons equipped, so you're gonna have to fight them. Of course, because their weapons are what's giving the support effects. So you do have to take out Marni and Fjorm, and there is just no breaking through this Fjorm because of the low that Tamara is giving out, and also Marni, I guess. You're getting lows from all over the place, so none of my buffs matter, but all of their buffs matter. So it's kind of an uneven playing field in that regards. The only target that I could really go for here is Marni, because I can outspeed her with Chrom, but as you can see here from the forecast, it's really just not that great. As I said, this is a Gale Force setup for Chrom so that he can go multiple times. Really what you'd want, or what I actually had, like literally just before this match, I had it set up where he could initiate with no quarter, but then I decided that it's probably better to get extra actions. Like, it's never going to happen where I can outspeed, right? But as is the case in this setup, speed isn't the problem. It's literally just doing damage because of the what's that thing called, deflect melee. So I'm going in here with Jimbro because I want to break the damage reduction from Ather, the flat 10, and then I want to go in with Chrom afterwards to see what the actual damage forecast is when I get the triangle attack and everything all going. But it's literally not enough because of the deflect melee, and no quarter would have really helped me out a ton with that, because it would have triggered twice in this combat, which would have more than likely gotten me to a spot where I could have taken out Marni. Granted, he is doing a big amount of damage, but I think Chrom would have been able to get through with no quarter for this layout. The miracle would probably have played a part in it as well, because it would really come down to whether or not I could heal enough on Chrom for him to continue a follow-up combat. And I think I was able to get 2 combats out of this Chrom. The problem was that Marni it wasn't enough damage. I wasn't able to get through the deflect melee seal, which works well with Marni here, but DR piercing is all over the place, especially on the units that would especially on units that you would probably use to initiate in a setup like this. I'm using Chrom because he's just that great, and typically he works really, really well in these setups because of the buffs that he can get. And also, I guess he is cutting the DR in half because I did the thing where he flipped and then he gets that other status effect from Legendary Camilla. But you really want to pierce the DR full and also do a ton more damage. So yeah, Gale Force just didn't work out for me here. And then after that, I still would have to fight the rest of the team, Tamara included. And I don't know how I'd actually deal with Tamara with this Chrom setup. I don't think Chrom would be able to handle it. Maybe Nino could if she's able to outspeed Tamara, but then I'd also have to take out Sedith. So this was a major pain to deal with, and it just exemplifies how difficult or how powerful saves are going to become with this Halloween banner and the skills that are on the Halloween banner, the new tier 4 save skills. They're gonna milk that for as much as it's worth. I think IS will definitely do that. Putting out multiple versions of near and far save, speed save, defense save. They're gonna be putting out multiple versions of that. So the 7 extra healing that Marni would have gotten from the near save would have made her, like, that's plus 14 after combat. It's probably going to make her a little bit impossible to kill in this setup. So yeah, ultimately, as I said, I do end up surrendering because, as you can see here, not getting through, even with Thea here. You can see why Marni has the fire effective damage there. That's really what it's for, aside from the fact that it's canon to the story from Engage, but also it really is for, like, because the triangle attacking units are all flyers at the moment, outside of 2 exceptions. The majority of them are flyers, though. Or the rest of them are flyers. But yeah, Chrom just going in. It's crazy that she's taking this much abuse and just not dying. And the fact that she is running Exclusion and not Pavis, yeah, that is that's really crazy. One other thing that probably would have helped me out a bit more here is mid-turn debuffs, but the only thing I have is Plumeria, and Plumeria isn't, putting out a ton of debuffs here. I guess you could, like, rack in with Snag and stuff just to get more damage in, but really the no quarter on Chrom would have been the icing on the cake for this one, to try to break through successfully. I think that's really where this match was lost from my side, but I gotta hand it to him. This is a fantastic defense, man, in terms of just taking advantage of what's available currently in the meta. the fact that Nino is not outspeeding Dual Fjorm is because this is not a slow Nino by any stretch of the imagination. It's really just the low that is, you know, being put out. Look at all the buffs that I have on Chrom there. And Nino is, if you don't know how this Nino works, she copies buffs from the nearby opponent. So if there's a lull in play, then that pretty much negates her whole thing. So yeah, just not getting enough stats to break through this team here. I think even if you were running Fogado and you had, like, let's say Blue Feud, you probably would work out a little bit better here. I don't know. Actually, no, I tested it myself, and Fogado with Blue Feud also doesn't do a ton here. So, yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Bonus stats as well, working in Fjorm's favor. I don't think you'd be able to be this successful outside of bonus season with this particular setup. But this is just very, very good. If every armor ball goes in this direction, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna need some type of powerful nuke to help us out, because yeah, things are just getting too difficult to kill. Supports are back, man, in a big way.